Jim Schultz here for Calculated Risk. And don't forget, before we get started, the number one best way that you can help us out, man, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend. All of those things help us out a ton. So every decision you make as a trader has a price, right? Everything is about pros and cons. It's about benefits and drawbacks, or as some might say, for every gimme, there's a gotcha. Well, today we're going to talk about arguably the best, most common example of this relationship in all of trading. Like, as an active derivatives trader, there is no better example of this cost-benefit framework than the POP premium relationship, right? The probability of profit on a given strategy and the credit you collect on that strategy. You're always giving up one to go after the other. So let's dive in and unpack this relationship in even more detail. Whenever you place a trade, you're not just making one decision. You're actually making a ton of micro decisions all wrapped up in the same trade package. I mean, the strategy, the underlying, the strike selection, the expiration date, all of these things go into making the one overall overarching decision of the trade that you make. And with every single one of those little tiny micro decisions, you're always giving something up to get something else. This is always the case. This is simply the nature of the game when it comes to active trading. And nowhere is that relationship more obvious than with the POP premium interaction, right? And put very simply, POPs and premiums are always going to move inversely. Like, if you want to go after a high one, you have to be willing to accept a lower other. This is always the case when it comes to POPs and premiums. If you want a higher probability of profit, you're going to have to be willing to accept a lower credit collected. And if you want more credit collected, you're going to have to be okay with a lower probability on that trade. And there's just no way around this. It's not a broker thing. It's not a platform thing. The market makers aren't out to get you. Like, this is all baked into the mathematics that are underpinning and underlying the entire options market. The market is constantly pricing in the probability of all possible outcomes, and the credits that you see and the premiums that you see at a given strike or on a given trade are a reflection of that probability. And really, fundamentally, this is no different than the risk-return relationship, right? If you want a greater return on a given trade, you have to be willing to take on more risk. But if you're only comfortable taking on a little bit of risk, you have to be okay with a lower, more modest return. Higher returns and lower risk, the holy grail, just simply does not exist. But going back to options specifically, let's think about this intuitively. Like, on the one hand, if you have an option that's really far out of the money, like deep, deep, deep out of the money, the probability that that option finally moves in the money is extremely low. So the premium on that option is also going to be extremely low. The market doesn't have to pay a lot for that option because it's going to require a very dramatic move to kind of bring that guy back into the action, so to speak. But on the other hand, let's say you're looking at an option that's right there at the money or maybe slightly out of the money. There isn't too much that needs to happen in the market, and then all of a sudden that option is in the money. All of a sudden you are taking on more risk because that position has moved against you, and it didn't take very much to kind of change that scenario from, okay, everything is fine, to now all of a sudden this option is in the money. So naturally, the premium on that option has to be higher. The market has to compensate you more greatly for taking on that additional risk of getting involved with an option that is right there on the razor's edge between in the money and out of the money. It's really that simple. The less cushion you give yourself, the more you get paid. But the more cushion that you want, the less you get paid. Risk and return are inversely linked, as they always are. So, for example, let's say you're looking at a stock that's selling for $71 per share, and you're considering a short put in that stock in the April cycle, and you've got two options in front of you. Option one is the 70 strike put that's basically right there at the money, just slightly out of the money. You would collect a $1.75 premium, and the probability of profit on that trade is 65%, let's say. Option two is a 62.5 strike put that you might consider. Here, you are over 10% out of the money, and the premium that you would collect on this trade is only 50 cents, but the probability of profit is all the way up to, let's say, 94%. So you have a choice to make. Do I want to get paid $1.75 with a 65% chance of winning? Or do I want to get paid 50 cents with a 90+% chance of winning? Completely different risk profiles, and you have to be clear on what you're signing up for if you choose one over the other. Or here's another example. Let's say you're considering a neutral strategy, something like a short strangle, and you're looking at the IWM index, which right now is around $260 per share. With strikes at $235 on your put and $275 on your call would bring in about $4.30 in credit, and your probability of profit would be 70%. But an even wider strangle, with your strikes at $215 and $285 now, only brings in $1.30 in premium, but now your probability of profit jumps all the way up to 86%. Again, same strategy, same underlying stock, same expiration, but completely different risk-return profiles. Now, the question that everyone has at this point is, well, which one is the better trade? And I'm going to go ahead and take the safe route here and say it depends, because it actually does depend. It depends on your account size. It depends on your risk tolerance or risk appetite. It depends on your skill level. It depends on how much time you have to devote to the markets. There are just too many factors to consider to say that option A is definitively better than option B. So what I would do if I were you and you're trying to figure out which one of these trades would gravitate more closely to how I like to trade, try them both out. Like, take some time and try the tighter strangles, and take some time and try the wider strangles. Like, engage with that pop premium trade-off for yourself. And I think you will just naturally kind of move to one side of the spectrum, and you will see and you will learn a lot more about your risk tolerance and your risk appetite and how you generally like to trade and what your own personal style might be. Either way, just understand that every trade, every position has a trade within the trade. The outer trade is fairly straightforward. You sell a put, I want the market to go higher, I want time to tick away, simple enough. But there's a second trade, an inner trade that you're also making, and it's that pop premium trade-off. Like, what probability am I going for, and what profit potential am I willing to sacrifice to get there? Because pops and premiums will always be in constant tension with one another. Higher probabilities mean lower premiums, and higher premiums mean lower probabilities. This is always the case. There are no exceptions. The good news is, with enough experience and enough reps in the market, you'll be able to very quickly internalize this relationship and look at any trade and quickly identify, okay, this is the cost-benefit relationship. Like, this is what I have to give up to go after what I want to get. Or put another way, for every gimme, there's a gotcha. We'll see you guys in the next one.